Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by heritagehiphop.com, where we're more than music. We introduce you to your future favorite artists today, and we have them tell their stories to show you that hip hop is more than just beats and rhymes. It's the fabric, the texture, and the makeup of the artists and the people who make up the culture of hip hop itself. And today, we get a good look from 646 Entertainment, shout out to them, MJ's Hip Hop Connects, the Fleet DJs and the Heat DJs, by interviewing an up-and-coming star whose voice, story, and presence is bigger than what you hear. It's also something you can feel. We introduce you to Tiffany Jaye on Heritage Hip Hop. Make sure you sit down and listen to this incredible interview, and I'll come back with the rest of my commentary when it's finished.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where we introduce you to your future favorite artists today. And today we have somebody that not only brings style to the game, she brings clarity and substance through her soul. Introduce the people to yourself, please.
I like that introduction. My name is Tiffany Jaye, you guys. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, because at the end of the day, if no one can be real and tell you the truth about yourself, then you're around fake people. You agree with me?
I definitely agree.
And we're going to talk about realness tonight. Now, okay. Tiffany Jaye is a vocalist who vocally transcends the ear. What does that mean to you?
When you vocally transcend the ear, that means when you listen to my voice, you get the chills, okay? You get the chills, the shivers, and makes you want to get up and makes you want to dance. And it also makes you want to go into the deep recesses of your mind and pull out those memories that you once thought you forgot.
That's funny, because I just saw a video not too long ago where this guy was like, the Biggie Smalls verse came from Clint Eastwood. And the guy was like, no, it didn't. Because if you remember, Biggie said, remember. And remembrance, even spiritually speaking, talks about the times when things were pure and the essence was great. What is the purest time that you've had with music, and how was that essence great to you?
Ooh, you hit me with some really deep stuff today. Yo, okay. So there was a time, 2014 and 15, I was getting over a guy and was very depressed. And I used to go to work just for appearances, and then once I left work, I would cry in the car all the way home, cry to sleep, get back up, go to work, and do the same thing, and I would cry and do that for about 6 months. And one day when I was like, enough is enough, I had just came home and I said, I was thinking about the guy, and I said, all I know is I've been through today, and I found out I can't live without you, and that's the whole first verse. And that by far is it's like your Whitney or your Mariah mantra, basically. And this song is called Forever Come to You. It's not on anything out as far as under Tiffany Jaye, but it's on my website. And that song, what I talked about when you were saying transcendent in the purest, form of your soul and everything like that, that song definitely does it. When I sing it, you will definitely get goosebumps and chills, and you will be like, wow, where did that come from? So that's definitely it.
Shame on him for losing such a dope opportunity. Because
everybody for messing up.
The one thing I've learned about love is the journey that most people fail to take because they're too afraid to be real with themselves as they walk them steps.
Okay.
And sometimes music is the same way, if not all the time, because if you're not real with yourself, then your real talent never manifests itself.
I agree.
Now, from what I understand, you North Carolina, but you got some Brooklyn in you too. Tell me about that side of you.
That's the side that I think people down here don't necessarily understand. That's the excitement. That's the hypeness. That's the essence of me that will never go away. You know what I'm saying? When I'm down here, the energy that everybody is talking about, that's where that comes from. That's exactly where that comes from. And so as I grow more into who I am as an individual, as an artist, as a woman, I'm more comfortable with myself, and I can't, deter from that.
I'm going to be real with you, though. I think society's so afraid of black women that black women are hindered in being themselves. And I apologize to you for that, because a black woman wasn't trendy, so nobody listened to black women. When black women had, so-called black women, I should say, had the most deep, most depth and death-defining conversation that most people weren't ready to hear. Tell me about the conversations that you have with your music, that when people sit down and listen to you, not only are they going to learn from your talent, but they're going to learn from the spirit within your voice.
Tell me about the time. Say it again. Say it to me one more time.
Tell me about what they're going to get
when they sit down and listen to you,
what are they going to get in that song that's going to open them up, that depth-defying conversation that's not only going to show your talent, but have them sit down and really connect with you with your story?
I believe you'll dig deeper into the person that I am. I believe you'll dig deeper into my psyche. I believe you'll dig deeper into understanding the situation, and you can learn as far as, like, if I was a public speaker, I would be able to expand upon the situation and, let's say, give a fellow sister, or an older woman or a younger woman or even a guy to say, you know what, if you were ever to, like with my song Calling Me, if you were ever to have a mix with business and pleasure, this is what you should and should not do. This is how you remain confident within yourself so that people can't walk all over you. This is how you maintain your standard. And so when I talk to people about that, I think that allows them to understand what caliber of woman I am, what caliber of artist that I am, and therefore that within itself, in that maybe 5-minute or 10 or 30-minute window, they can understand there's more to this music, like what you were saying, than just the actual lyrics itself. This actually came from somewhere, and the somewhere that it came from an experience that this woman actually went through, and then she can tell me about what she learned. She reflected. You can tell that she's reflective, and she's actually going somewhere beyond this particular experience.
What is a woman?
These are all the things that me and my friend Jewel, we were talking about in this last week. We are not thinking necessarily about defining a woman, but we are thinking about sharing our experiences as far as what that means. I feel like a woman can be many things. A lot of people talk about, maintaining your feminine energy, but I feel like there is a balance between your feminine and masculine, being dominant and submissive, being respectful. There's a lot that comes with that. I feel like what we as women today, and particularly as Black women, we need to make sure that we are tapping into loving ourselves and not thinking about what society says to us, and especially with men being in a patriarchal society, thinking about what we need to do to make sure that we are fulfilling who we are as women and being truly happy and not necessarily doing things because that's what society may think. Because basically movies, radio, TV, social media, it's when you think about it, whose gaze is it that we are all kind of like promoting for? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when we basically take our power back, we are putting like our gaze, our perspective in the forefront. So I don't know if I necessarily defined it, but there's so much. I think a woman is ever evolving, just like her actual physical body is. She may have come into this world with, hence a certain amount of eggs, but that whole thing with her is evolving as far as with her hormones and things like that. And so I feel like it's like a beautiful flower that you can watch grow, and once it blooms, it's amazing. And depending on how well that she is taking care of herself during that grooming stage, you'll see the bloom, and then you'll see her gracefully age and eventually bow out gracefully,
Okay, let's have a meeting of the minds. I can't define what a woman is, but I could tell you my opinion.
Okay, and I'll give you my feedback based on your opinion.
Okay, let's do that, because I want to really spar with you. I respect your mind. I believe when you define a woman, you should say God. Okay. And here's the ultimate reason why. The nature of the woman is the part of God that people reject in the Bible that makes life hard. Have you ever noticed that?
The nature of the woman is the part that people reject that makes life hard. Give me an example.
Perfectly so. In the Bible, it says that the Most High is a man of war. So people focus on the punishment. People focus on sin and justice, right? Because that's what the Old Testament tells.
Right.
But if you look at the Old Testament, there's a lot of nurturing there as well. Like when Esther,
I agree.
Esther fasted. Shout out to Yom Kippur, that's today. But Esther fasted, and the nurturing nature of God led to a higher level of understanding, which is logical and emotional, that had Israel saved through the decree of the king.
Right.
How about this?
So then, therefore, you can say, okay, go ahead.
As a woman, you always protect your children. And the Most High had a people he wanted to protect and nurture, such as in the New Testament where Christ said, "O Israel, how I long to gather you together under my wings like a hen gathers her chicks," which is a loving posture that people forget. See, in my estimation, and I always can be wrong, and I love to talk to other people to find out what you think, the most powerful part of a woman is not, I mean, from a male perspective, it's not that she's supposed to be the opposite, because you're not opposite of us, but it's not that you are the opposite of us, is you're the complementary part that makes us whole, and most people are so broken that they can't be whole because they have to be part of the half that they're missing first. How do you feel about that?
But can you be the whole on your own and then even be more of a whole when you meet the other half? You get what I'm saying?
In my opinion,
because don't you? In your opinion?
No.
And that's your opinion.
Right. In my opinion, I say no because everyone always longs for a connection.
True.
And see, the essence of music has been tapped into that connection because music is the gateway to the heart, the soul, and the spirit at the same time. Can you tell me a song in your past or even now, outside of your catalog, that connected your heart, spirit, and soul at the same time, and that's when you felt elevated through audio inspiration?
Let me just think of something very recent. Well, I mean, anything from, I feel like anything that has true musicianship in it. I know this is the Hip Hop Heritage Show, but if it has true, like music in it, a majority of the music that has that essence, that soul in it, that's when it speaks to all three of what you said at the one time. It can be a ballad. It could be a fast song. Those moments where if you blast it in your headphones or in the speaker, it's the goosebumps. I don't know if you ever get those, but I mean, I get those a lot of times. I just finished listening to, I was doing some, movie themes or movie, soundtracks. And I recently, was listening to a Goofy movie, and Tevin Campbell is one of the main, lead singers, you know what I'm saying, as far as, for Max's character. So I listened to Eye to Eye, and I think that's just, it's pure, it's not gimmicky, it's speaking to the essence of the soul. And so that, I feel like when music has that, and the actual musicality of it, not necessarily like one or two melodies, but there's actually, you've got strings, you've got percussion, horns, all of those things in there, guitar, bass. When you have all of those things, that's when I feel it really, really speaks, because then you can really, really connect. I love listening to orchestras, classical music, all of that stuff.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Everybody, this is Tiffany Jaye, a woman who sees the heart, soul, and spirit in music, and her goosebumps translate into great music for your soul, heart, spirit. So let's talk about that.
Because I keep referring back to it, yeah.
I want to ask you something. I personally don't like R&B music nowadays. Because for one, it's soft hip hop now, and a lot of people can't sing.
I agree.
And two, I think a lot of the soul has been lost because we don't have any range in the genre anymore. How do you feel about that?
I definitely agree with what you're saying. There's no range in the music. There's no range in the vocals. We stay within maybe like, it's a very short range. So when you think about your Anita Bakers, your Aretha Franklins, your Whitneys, your Mariahs, your Monicas, your Brandys, your Boyz II Men, your Neos, those are all people who are singers. We don't even have that many male singers. Now you do have like your Eric Billingers and Lucky Day. I love him. Trying to think of who else. There's Ryan Destiny, who I love. Chris Brown definitely can sing.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of people, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say who I'm not a fan of because I don't want to throw any shade, but.
Yeah, I'll do that for you. Don't worry.
But I definitely agree with what you're saying. That's why I feel like there is a movement for people listening to a lot of music from the 90s. That was a very precious era, and I think that touched everyone's soul. And I feel like that's definitely what's missing now. That's definitely what's missing in the movies of now, because I feel like music actually pivots or kind of drives where we're going as a society. It kind of tells society where to go and what to think, if you get what I'm saying. And when we were having a lot of those nice love songs, you know, with Anita Baker, Luther Vandross, for example, Babyface, Next, Got Seven, stuff like that, it was more of a harmonious society versus now. It's not the same. It's all about, you know, I was getting some, you know what I'm saying, getting that about the DMs, et cetera, et cetera. So it definitely has changed a lot of what the young people think. And I feel like with record labels, they're just trying to use what sells instead of just artists sticking to what they feel is in their heart and soul, unless you've already been established. And that's what's difficult for people like myself that are coming up. Some people feel like they have to sell their soul. Perfect example, Chloe and Haley, the twins, and that recent video that Chloe just came out with, where it was like she was going to like so they were together, and now, you know, Haley's doing her Disney contract, so she's kind of staying within a particular lane. But her sister is hypersexual right now. And so the question is, what does that say? You can still have the exact same song, but why visually do we have to be over-sexualized as females? When we talk about women, what are women? You know, are we our bodies? Are we our minds? Are we our spirits? Like, what are we? This really questions everything. And I hope that with R&B, I know that you don't like where it's going now, but I hope that I can be one of those people that kind of bring it back to the essence of the soul, because that's what's missing. We selling everything else but the talent.
Okay. I think a lot of the R&B nowadays is missing a soul and a story, though. Let's take a walk down the street. You mind taking a walk down the street with me?
Let's take a walk down the street. I'm going to walk with you. Let's go around the corner.
All right. So if the street's on my left, you on my right. I'm going to protect you from the
right. Thank you.
That's R&B, though. Because it's all about cherishing the person that you're with. Because even when you're cheated on or hurt, you cherish that person, and that's where the pain comes from. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So me and you are walking down the street. So I'm cherishing you. You're on my right side. You see the birds. You see the cars. You stop to get some lemonade stand. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what "Say That You Want Me" means to me. Because "Say That You Want Me." And that's what's missing.
Oh, you like, so you listen, that's what you got from "Say That You Want Me"?
Am I lying?
Yeah, because I painted a picture.
Tell me more, because I'm going to tell you what I got from it. Tell me more. What picture did you paint?
It was exactly kind of like what you're saying. It was 2020, and I was feeling not necessarily alone, but if I wanted to be courted by somebody, that's kind of like me whispering to them, these are the things that I want from you. Say that you want me. Say that you need me now. This is what will help me get closer to you. All of those things. And then second verse comes with what I'll be. We already know what the Mary Jane is, but I can be that and more, you know?
Right.
You really listen and you pay attention.
Oh, of course. Heritage hip-hop is not about, oh, yeah, you got a song out, let's talk. No, we go into your catalog. We dig into your mind, as you can see.
Yeah.
So the song really shows me that you are a woman with a story, not a singer with lyrics. Why do you think so many people surpass the story and just try to give you hot lyrics?
Because it's a quick fix, and that's what a lot of people are looking for, the quick fix. Microwave society. You see?
So we're like microwaving the soul of the music instead of appreciating the story behind the story.
Say that one more time.
So we're microwaving our music instead of appreciating the story behind the story itself.
You are correct.
Words spoken from an R&B singer, y'all. So guess what? I'm not crazy. As people would say. In the past 4 years, though, I have found people who can sing, and you're going to be one of them that I'm going to start talking about more. You know, because when I first saw your name for the interview, I was like, oh, I know her. I was excited. I was like, I know her. Work for it? Come on. Who don't know that song?
Right?
But here's the thing about Work For It, though.
Tell me, you think it's a part of the... Go ahead.
Oh, I think it's part of the what? Tell me, what do you think?
Do you think it's... I thought you were going to say that it's a part of the microwave, and it's not telling the story.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
I'm going to be quiet and listen.
Because think about it. The microwave don't even have lyrics. It's like work for it, work for it, work for it. I'm dancing, work for it. You know what I'm saying? It's corny.
Right.
But no, work for it had a story to it. The sex appeal of the song wasn't about even how you looked or what you wore. The sex appeal is how you draw them in with how you carry your notes. See, our music level will see things like that because notes, breath, nasalness, those are the things that translate through a song. There's a singer that I listen to. That's all a part of the delivery.
That's all a part of the delivery, and you have to know that. I don't know if many singers or vocalists, or we're just going to call them singers right now because they're not vocalists. I don't know if many people know about that. You have to deliver the song.
Right.
And that's what you're hearing in there. And that's being able, you didn't even probably need to listen or watch the video in order to get it. And I don't think people can do that nowadays. They are relying on the video to sell the song, but can your song sell the song itself?
Excellent point. Because there's a singer that I listen to now, and I told her to her face, every time you sing, it sounds like you're giving birth. I think that flew over a lot of people's heads the way I said, the way I meant that. But I'm glad it did because then it made them go listen to her music, and they see that she made a classic album. That album is like an award-winning album. Wow. And with you, when I listen to you, I hear so much range that you're like a dynamic boxer or kickboxer that can hit in any way in the ring. You can hit them moving forward because moving forward is like a dance track. You can hit them moving backwards because that's a thoughtful track. Say that you want. The new single is very 90s-esque.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, okay. So we're hitting them forward, we're hitting them back, and we dip into the side also because the 90s was about stage presence to make sure you could dance while you sing.
Yes.
So I'm like,
I'm all there.
damn. I'm like, damn, Tiffany Jaye is the shit. Interesting. I want to ask you, is there a 90s certain style, because the 90s had 3 styles. Is there certain styles of 90s that inspired your new song, which you're going to plug right now? What's the name of it?
It's called Calling Me.
That's right.
That's what it's called.
Is there a certain era in the 90s that inspired you that helped you make that song?
I would say because I grew up in the 90s. The 90s is basically like, it's all inside of me. So it's not I'm not sure what styles you have in mind, but it's the 90s in its entirety. Like, it's from the background vocals. Like Calling Me is it has heavy backgrounds, you know, but they're tasteful and it's not overwhelming. It's not too much, you know? So, that comes from, you know, stuff like Boys to Men, but I also pulled, Beyonce is going to be more so, I would say, 2000s. And what I really admire about her is she has a lot of vocals, and so does Neo, and they do them in a very tasteful way. So I try to take all that. You got that, SWV, In Vogue, you know, all of them, because that's where a lot of our groups came from, you know, and so it wasn't necessarily one singer singing everything. And something that me and my music manager, OG Neil from 646 Entertainment, something that he and we talk about, you don't necessarily want one person singing all of the backgrounds, because it may give you more of a stale range, right? But I think what is interesting about myself is that I am able to change my voice and make it sound like someone else, so it doesn't necessarily, you could think that, okay, she's got the lead, but maybe she's got somebody else doing the backgrounds. And so I'm very blessed and thankful that I can do that. But a lot of the 90s, that's where the influence comes from. You have different people singing different harmonies, and that's something that I love a lot, because your voice is now an added instrument to the instrumentation.
So this is where I see the 90s at. The 90s was the beginning of the background singer taking front stage.
Call me. Yeah,
The 90s was also the group era, where people saw the refreshing of the Motown look.
Yes.
Okay, groups. Two of the best groups ever formed came out in the 90s, which is In Vogue and Boyz II Men, like you said. But we also had SWV. We also had Silk. We also had Mint Condition.
Mm-hmm.
We also had all these groups, right? You know what I'm saying? And then here's the third part of the 90s that people overlook, and that's fusion. That's what Mary J. Blige was so important to the 90s. Because while everybody could love Lisa Fisher, How Can I Ease the Pain, Mary J. Blige brought the bop to the R&B. And then, as you see, right after What's the 411, R&B changed.
Right. It did. You have that, and I watched the documentary with Mariah Carey. She was also one of the innovative ones who took R&B and hip-hop, and that's kind of where you have your rappers. I think she did that with Jay-Z. You have her and rappers, Jay-Z, Jermaine Dupri, even Janet did that too, you know? So, and Missy with Timberland, that group that she sang with, Missy did it a lot. That's all I can, think about right now. But a lot of that, it was the fusion, like you said. But it did keep it wasn't all the way hip-hop, the same way like hip-hop wasn't all the way hip-hop like it is now. Hip-hop took a lot of jazz, you know what I'm saying, from back in the day, and they intertwined them. And that's where you get a lot of your soulful movies like South Central, series like Living Single and things like that. Boys in the Hood, they have all of that from our parents' era. So there was a lot of that going on, and I know a lot of people even now are going back to, like your Lauryn Hill, how Drake redid Lauryn Hill, Chris Brown's doing Michael Jackson, like they did back in the day, but that's because what's really real.
Facts. And even so that you said that, this is why I call heritage hip-hop what it is. Because hip-hop is not a genre of music. Hip-hop is a lifestyle. So if it's a lifestyle, that means it's living. And if it's living, it means it's God-centric. So if God gave us these things, I would call it hip-hop after today's generation, but also it's been around since the beginning of time. Like, I'm going to just take what you said, for instance. If you look up the definition of jazz, jazz is not a music style. Jazz means sexual movement of the hips. If you look up rhythm and blues, rhythm is a heartbeat and blues are your emotions. Even if you look at rock, it's up-tempo, so you move your body back and forth. So hip-hop can accomplish all those things and give you more, because now you express it. Everybody can't sing, but you could be hip-hop without even being a rapper. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. I understand.
That's what makes R&B so cutthroat to me, though, is because either you can sing or you can't. And if you can't, shut the hell up while everybody else wants to rap. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on right now. And then you got rappers who are trying to sing, but they not really singing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just basically jumbled into the hip-hop, and then R&B just kind of gets put to the side, and nobody wants to hear that anymore, and I don't know why. I really don't know why people don't want to hear the stories and hear the emotions, and, because everybody can't be turned up all the time. We're not at the club all the time.
Let's talk about that, because I think that comes with affiliation. And people will express who they are through their affiliations, instead of being individualistically sound and truthful with themselves to be sound and truthful with others. One of my favorite MCs of all time is Billy Danze of MOP. And he said a liar is a person who's truly unhappy with who they are, so they make a reality to make themselves happy and get mad at you for not bending towards their false reality. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are living a lie, not even through their music, but in their ideals as we twerk, hit angles, and get surgeries to take pictures. Mm-hmm. So to say. Because some guys do it too. That's why I said we. All right?
Right.
And let's talk about affiliation first, because that's going to groom into the music that you create. Tell me about the strongest affiliation, or one of the strongest affiliations that you've made within your life that helps you prepare not only for womanhood, but for stardom that you're blossoming into right now.
Right. I would say my strongest affiliation is where I'm anchored as far as in my faith, believing in God and Christ. And with that, it's a constant work in progress each and every day. I know I'm not perfect, but I do know that at the end of the day, I reflect back on how I performed, and I recall certain events, and I try to say, okay, I'm going to be better in this aspect. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to forgive myself and forgive others who I feel have wronged me. And so that is the strongest affiliation. I feel like I want to make sure that before I get even further into the industry that I am found in that first, because then that means I know exactly who I am, and I will not compromise myself, not for money, not for fame, or anything like that. And so that is first and foremost the most major affiliation that I have.
But you can't be perfect. You know that, right?
I cannot be. Did you say can't? Yeah?
No, you can be perfect, though. You know
elaborate.
That, right? What is the definition of perfect?
Perfect's probably without flaws, but we all have them.
Nope, that's flawless.
What is?
Perfect means balanced. Perfect does not mean flawless. So you can be perfect.
In that sense, then yes.
Nobody ever broke that down before?
There we go. We can do that. I would say yes then. And that is what I'm striving to be each and every day. And there's some days that are, yes.
Yeah, we have our days when we're balanced and when we're not.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But that's the goal. The goal is to be overall balanced so that when people look at us, we're not too evil, we're not too righteous. We're just right, so we reflect the light that comes from the Most High that created us, correct?
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Right. And see, affiliation in my era came through how we formed our teams. And in my era, we was big on going to college because of Different World and the Cosby Show and all these things was on. And the sororities and the fraternities was the biggest thing for us. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, sororities and fraternities weren't everywhere in the country, so a lot of us couldn't do that. But sometimes you did that.
I did do that.
It
was the women in my church, the people that I really rocked with, they were Deltas, and when I got to college and realized that was something that was possible, I said, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I won't, feel any kind of way. And the opportunity came, and it was able to happen for me. And so I'm thankful. When I went to my first national conference, that was the first time I had seen so many Black women together, doing something of unity. So that was something that was just unheard of, like in my psyche. And so I know it's possible, and I know it's happening all across the world in different, let's say, affiliations and groups and organizations. And so that, it was bigger than anything that I had seen as far as like with church or even school. That was a major something. I think that was in 2010 for me. Yeah.
Well, shout out to all the Divine Nine out there, because y'all are still keeping a light aflame that many people are looking for. And we like to expose it on Heritage Hip Hop to all Deltas and whoever else is listening. This is about you. I'm not going to take it there. But all I'm going to say is salute to you for taking that walk and bringing it back. Because in your music, you use a voice of unity and clarity instead of using a voice of confusion and disassembled spirit in your songs. How meaningful is it to you to have a strong, unified voice instead of having a powerful, cryptic, or broken voice when it comes to music?
Wow, these are some deep questions. It is. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I came, prepared. It's important because that will help define everything else that comes afterwards. And so I think you can take a listen and automatically understand and know. Like, I really pride myself on learning how to sing, and I would say Whitney and Mariah taught me. And at that time, I was just emulating their sound because to me, that was perfect or perfection. It was just beautiful. And I said, if I could sound like that, then that's basically more than half the battle. And so after that, it was about finding my own voice and figuring out who I am. And I'm still doing that today, but it's many things. But when you hear me on the track, that's the one thing that I would definitely say I've perfected. If I'm going a little bit outside of my range, then it just takes a little bit more, practice. But what's already there, what you've heard in Workforce say that you want me in calling me, it's pretty much something that's already been perfected. Now I'm trying to tell my story,
And that's a very beautiful thing that a lot of people miss, is because storytelling actually makes the artist bigger than the song, and it grabs the listener's attention to hear the song more because they want to know more about you. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree.
So let's get a little bit more about you, because North Carolina, will you call home now, North Carolina? Yes?
Yeah, we're going to call Charlotte home now, yes.
Okay. North Carolina was the hotbed of media for a good 2 to 3 years. Since your time down there, how did you see media, music media, visual media, how did you see it grow in that area? And how are you a part of it and keeping it alive?
Charlotte, per se, is an interesting place. I've been reading several posts on social media where a lot of people say Charlotte's a good place to kind of move, but as far as in the entertainment industry, you come here and then basically people feel like they have to go to California, Atlanta, and New York, Tennessee, Virginia, or Texas even, to basically do better. And when I came from New York down here, I was like, well, I already have that essence. I don't necessarily need to go back. What am I going back for? Am I going back to understand how to have a New York state of mind? What am I going back for? That's what I'm trying to understand. I feel like I can still stay in Charlotte and get all the connections that I need. What we are missing is the camaraderie, the unity. Like, that's what we're missing. It's very much a crabs in a barrel kind of situation. And you don't necessarily get a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of respect, but you don't necessarily get a lot of play. There are a lot of different groups and cliques and organizations that are doing things. Now, if you are that true, genuine person, I have a lot of social circles that tend to overlap and then tend to not overlap. But I have good blood with all of them, if that makes sense. Some people that I am affiliated with don't have good blood with some of the other people that I'm affiliated with. And I think that has to go with their own personal character, and things like that. And so that's something, wherever I go, I don't want to burn bridges, and I want to make sure that I keep it open because I never know when they may need me and when I may need them. So Charlotte is very interesting. It's coming up because the economy is coming up. A lot of people are moving here. It's a great place to be as far as weather-wise. It's the best of a lot of worlds. You get some of the country, you get some of the city, you get some of the suburbs, and the in-between. So it's good on that sense. A lot of other people who have money, like studios and things like that, can come and do a movie production here. But as far as the actual individuals that are in here, born and raised, it's hard for them to make something of themselves. And so a lot of people do move away, and then they may come back after they've gotten some tenure in the world around them. And I do encourage, no matter where you're from, to actually travel so that you can be well versed, as far as in just the human experience. But that's something that I feel like Charlotte is taking a good while to do. It's taken us a long time to get to where we are today. And I had recently talked to somebody, and some people still don't like the way Charlotte is growing. We've got a lot of those people, So it's far as a meeting of the mind, some people don't want to meet.
I see. Because North Carolina had two big booms. The first boom that I know of is with the Justice League movement. And that brought out Little Brother. It brought out Kevin Cosby. It brought out Josie Mo. That's a hip-hop thing. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
The second boom came from when people highlight the baby. But then you had a lot of people going down there to do movies. People were down there on web series and things like podcasts and like that. And North Carolina had a second boom, and then we got to see the difference between Raleigh and Charlotte and Winston-Salem and Douglasville. We saw, and that's, well, I guess Douglasville. I'm trying to remember the cities, but it kind of showed that North Carolina and Charlotte is big as hell. First of all, and it kind of showed the different aspects. Like when we up here think of Charlotte, I like the Panthers. You know, it's not my favorite team. I like the Panthers. I think about the Panthers. I think about North Carolina versus Duke basketball. I think about pretty girls in the summertime, 'cause that's what a guy thinks. You know what I'm saying? And I think about the uptown area, that's really the downtown area, and the live bands at night. You see what I'm saying? But when you go into the undertones of it, North Carolina, South Carolina are very bluesy, jazzy, rhythmic, down-home soul places that until you tap into the soul, you're just an outsider that's looking for attention from a people that already have an identity. Have you ever felt that?
Maybe that's because you're looking at it from the outside in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it comes off that it's exactly how it comes off the way you say, but from inside out, like living and walking the streets every day, it's just what you make it. I don't necessarily see that. Now, right before the pandemic, things were definitely popping. I've walked down the street several of times and people that was like, yo, Tiffany. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is starting to be a thing, like where people just calling my name out, you know, and I'm just out. So, now with everything kind of just being at a little bit of a halt, I'm curious to see when things open back up where we end up. I don't have much to say about it, to be honest, because I'm still trying to, I just think about just certain people in different groups and things like that I've affiliated myself with, and how they're still going, they're still doing their thing. But it's just very much some people are still to themselves. And the unity that you speak of is only of organizations and things that have already made it.
Well, shout out to 646 Entertainment. Shout out to the Fleet DJs. Shout out to the Heat DJs. Because they're getting behind somebody who not only has talent, but I think you haven't tapped into the biggest part of your talent yet. And that's why I'm going to keep watching you. For instance.
Please do. I definitely haven't tapped into it at all. There's so much more, and I've done this all throughout my entire life. I was in a marching band. I've ran track. There's so many things. I've been in a play. I've sung national anthems, et cetera, et cetera. So there's more to come. I just can't wait for the opportunities to come across. So as I'm kind of keeping go ahead.
Funny thing is, you bring all that up, but you didn't bring up the one most important thing that you did.
What?
And that's why I said you haven't tapped into it yet.
What is it? You gonna say it? Please let me know.
You saved somebody's life and didn't even know it. Let me tell you something about you.
How sway? What?
Let me tell you something about you that you're taking for granted, because you're not necessarily identifying it.
Okay.
The soul is healed through rhythm, harmony, and excellence. Excellence is not how well you do something. It's how you protect it and keep it sacred. And the most sacred thing about your essence is the simple fact you can expose it through your vocal. Vocally, have sung something into somebody, and that smile or that thing that you gave them not only healed high blood pressure, not only saved them from bad experiences, calmed them down from something that was negative, you positively impacted someone's life in a way that not only you gave them joy, but you healed them from a negative that brought disease to their system. That makes you a doctor. So doctor.
Let me. Oh, you know what? You know what?
Pleasure.
You are. Oh no, you're breaking up. Come back.
No, I'm here. What's up?
Okay. You are right. I forgot about that. A friend of mine, Esther from college, she has said it. Somebody else has said it. I've witnessed it. They've said you're a healer, and I've sung to people. I remember I was at my job, and I sung to my supervisor because I told her, I was like, hey, she's like, what do you do? And I told her I sing something for me. So I sang something to her, had my eyes closed. When I opened my eyes, she was crying. And, and then in front of somebody else, Princess, she's worked with Tiana Taylor. She's a part of her organization called Beyond the Steps. We were doing a practice, and we went to high school and college together. She's seen me perform and do stuff many a times. And then this one particular time, I was singing just to rehearse, and she's crying, and she was like, you just have it. So the doctor part, I'm a PhD, basically. Yeah. So that is the one part that I did forget. Thank you for bringing it back to my attention and reminding me about that. So that is what I always remember. And I usually do when I do write songs. I say to myself, I'm putting my spirit and my essence into this song, and it's going to live forever. That's something that Michael Jackson said. I read it in a magazine that they interviewed him with. And that's what I want to happen when I'm long and gone. If you want to feel me, if you want to talk to me, if you want to listen to me, just pick up one of my songs and just, escape.
And with that being said, everybody, we've come to the end of our time.
It's all right.
The interviews go so fast because they're so good. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you hit me with some heavy stuff.
Because I listened to you. So if I didn't listen to you, I wouldn't come up with the questions to ask. So thank you for making quality materials that led to quality questions.
You're welcome.
So give everybody your social media and plug that song so they can get that.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tiffany Jaye. You can put it in your phone and everything will pop up. Website, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, SoundCloud, etc. is going to be TJAYE Taylor. All right, that's TJAYETaylor.com. My latest single is called Calling Me. If you're ever feeling like you're alone and somebody did you wrong, it's all right because they're going to keep calling you back. But just remember, don't let them overstep your boundaries. All right? Tiffany Jaye, calling me, say that you want me, and work for it. That's me.
And with that being said, everybody, Heritage Hip Hop does not believe in streaming. We believe in purchasing. So make sure you go out and buy her music because in the world that we living in, we have people like Larry Elder saying that Trayvon Martin's death was his own fault, and he wants people people like him in his neighborhood to be dealt with by people like George Zimmerman, which is crazy. We have COVID-19. Yeah. We survived the Donald Trump era of the world, and I've heard, and we saw that Texas froze, and I heard it snowed in Brazil this year. So the world is crazy. Ooh. So if music helps you heal, don't rent your music. Own it. By buying the music, not only do you guarantee yourself the song that heals you, but you give the artist money to have them make more songs that can heal your heart as well. But do you agree with me that they should purchase your song?
Yes, purchase the song. It's right on my website, and the website will go directly to me, definitely, instead of doing it for iTunes, et cetera, et cetera. So everything's on my website, TJAYETaylor.com. You'll see all the material there and so much more. I have more of a catalog. I have Testing 1, 2, 3, which is a full-blown album, and I have an EP called Dare to Dream. So you should definitely check that out.
Definitely. And with that being said, we've come to the end of the first part of the interview. Now we go to the second part, which is the rapid-fire questions. Are you ready for these questions?
Oh, no! I wasn't ready. I'm ready, though.
The rapid-fire questions are not yes-no questions. These are questions destined to show your knowledge of yourself and the craft that you have. So the first question is this. What song or album perfectly describes you? From another artist catalog.
Black Mozart. By Ryan Leslie. And it just helped me heal. Speaking of healing, I was at a time where I was cleaning buildings and transitioning between 2 and 3 jobs, and he is like the epitome of like the ultimate artist. He reminds me of Stevie Wonder, Prince, and Michael. Michael for his presentation, Prince and Stevie for their musicality and being able to handle a bunch of instruments. And then I love the fact that he can actually sing and he can rap. And so he's not only relying on one, vocal aspect, but I really enjoyed it. I've been listening to Ryan Leslie since he first came out. And Black Mozart, I felt like, how dare you call yourself that? But it is rightfully so. So it helped me heal, and that was an amazing album.
Dope. What moves your pen to make better quality music? The pain you've been through or the joy that you experience?
The pain, unfortunately. A lot of my material has come from the pain. And what I do want to do, I've heard some very upbeat, you would think joyful songs, but when you listen to the lyrics, they're actually painful. And I want to be able to do that, to kind of flip it. You know what I'm saying? So, it's mainly the pain. And I'm hoping that I'm not going to be like Duck from the 5 Heartbeat 2, who says that he's just going to continue to go through turmoil, and that's the reason why he's a great writer. But to be honest, that's actually what happens. And so as long as I can remain balanced in my mind, body, and soul when things happen to me, I don't think I will be consumed by my bad experiences, because in the past, that's what actually happened. I've been consumed. But now I can actually take these experiences and say, you know what, I can actually write about them and leave all of the emotion there. And then I can continue to move forward and be balanced.
I have 3 more questions, and then we're going to fade off. My next question is, what is the perfect song? Meaning, if that person never came out with this song, it would have been your first mainstream single.
What is the perfect song? What? The rapid fire questions. It's a bop. That's what the song is. It's a bop that you can listen to, and you just immediately, with the first 2 seconds that it plays, you know exactly what that is. And it's something that's timeless. It's classic. You can play it at any function. You can play it at weddings, cookouts. It just brings back memories. It's nostalgic, and it will last for forever. That is the perfect song.
Okay.
And it's clean. Little kids can listen to it and basically grasp it just like that.
I love the answer. That's the first time anyone ever answered it like that. Second to last question. How did you like being on Heritage Hip Hop, and would you recommend us to any other artists?
Yes, I enjoyed it. It definitely made me think a lot of times. So what you guys don't know about me is I'm an introvert, and I'm shy. And so a lot of times just working with music for plenty of years, it has helped me come out of my shell and to just go with the flow and be impromptu. And this was totally different from any of the other interviews. You didn't even tell me how I was going to go. You were just like, we're going to get into it. And then your first question was like an essay. And I was like, oh, shoot, like, ah. But I love it because it pulls on heartstrings that you didn't know that you had. And that's what I love about it. So I would definitely recommend it because it's going to make you think. And if you haven't done the homework on yourself, I don't think it would be a good interview. You know what I mean?
Wow. Thank you for that. The last question, unfortunately, for your first interview, which means you have an open door. We have an open door policy, you have an open door invitation. You don't have to be Billboard Top 100 to be on Heritage Hip Hop. All you have to do is have music in the story, and we'll give you that. We'll give you that honor. And because I like your music, I definitely want to talk to you more and more. So the door is always open, okay?
Thank you. Thank you much.
But the last question I'm going to ask you is, 500 years from now, North Carolina, they're going to have a Music Hall of Fame, and someone's going to walk to a certain part of the wing, and they're going to see Tiffany Jaye there. And someone's going to say, who's Tiffany Jaye? And they're going to push a red button, and your hologram's going to come out the wall. And music is going to be introduced to people 500 years from now. The most important question of the first interview I want to ask you is, what is the legacy that you left behind that healed the world and made it better because you did music?
The music, the notes, the words, the pictures, everything that music and art is about is the mere essence of what I love to do and who I am. I hope that you not only listen for entertainment, but also gain some personal growth. Preserve and continue to build your confidence so that you can be inspired. We all have gifts and talents. Find out what works for you and use that to help serve in whatever way you see fit. I want you to enjoy, live life, and be free. God bless you. Love, Tiffany Jaye.
And with that being said, make sure that you always give your best and your essence in everything that you do, because God made you special and you're a one of a kind. And being that one means that it only takes one to change the world. And you may not change the world in a whole total landscape, but if you change the mind of one person and they put their life in balance, which is a form of perfection, you did change and heal the world, because you gave the world to somebody whose world was broken. And healing is the ultimate gift that you could ever give someone who needs to feel something. This is Karel from Heritage Hip Hop with the fabulous Tiffany Jaye. And we say peace, and we out.
We are out. Thank you.
Shout out to the Divine Nine, who keeps making our people look great in all aspects and facets of life that hip hop encompasses. Politics, business, teaching, social service, society, period. And of course, music. And Tiffany Jaye is keeping that Divine Nine spirit alive by being excellent and the best at her craft, while teaching and healing people, bringing tears to their eyes and joy to their heart with her music. Make sure you follow Tiffany Jaye and go to her website to purchase her music. Follow her moves too, because she's doing something incredible in North Carolina, representing Brooklyn also, but hopefully we'll bring her to Heritage Hip Hop again and also work with her in the future. Before we close out on this great podcast, I want to say thank you to everybody who's helped Heritage Hip Hop grow exponentially, as not only we go from country to country, city to city, town to town. Our focus is to go from ear to ear and mind to mind and help heal our nation and grow this platform to be bigger than what it is today. So if you are willing to help us build this platform, please become members of www.heritagehiphop.com. Members get music, they get great shows, and more. We are available also on all social media at Heritage Hip Hop. And as you know, we are also on Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasting needs. If you would like to donate to Heritage Hip Hop, our Cash App is $Heritage Hip Hop. If you would like to get some merch to support Heritage Hip Hop, our store is on www.storefrontier.com/Heritage Hip Hop. The link is on our main website as well. I want to give a shout out to the people who help make Heritage Hip Hop possible. The Most High, first and foremost. Our partners, Fatty's Place, the Heat DJs, the Fleet DJs, 8 Squad Rebel Radio, MJ's Hip Hop Connect, the Mixtape Radio Show. All the people who help put these podcasts and things together, and of course, you, the person listening. We thank you with all sincerity, because y'all help make this platform great, and without you, there would be no platform. So once again, thank you for being a part of this, and we pray and hope that we grow with you, because we will be building more and more soon. With that being said, make sure you tune in for more, because more things are coming. This is Karel of Heritage Hip Hop, wishing you a blessed day, saying peace, and we out. Thank you for watching our presentation. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube family and hit the notification bell for updates. Please like, comment, and share this video.